Welcome back to another video, and welcome back to RALLYTOP Investing. Now in today's video, I'm going to show to you the simplest way you can choose the strongest order blocks, alright, in the market using liquidity. Alright, now what I'm about to show to you is that you need other conferences to be able to make it up. Alright, conferences like your structure, you must be able to read your structure correctly in the market. Alright, then you need to know what is external and internal range liquidity, and then you need to know what exactly is liquidity in the market. Now, for your OB to be the strongest OB in the market that you can take trades from, that OB must clear liquidity either before it or inside of that OB. Liquidity must be purged. Without liquidity being purged, that your OB will become liquidity for another OB. I want you to understand that. Now let me show you in a diagram. Take a look at this diagram here. Price went up and took liquidity here. Alright? How do we know it has grabbed liquidity? Because immediately after that, the price dropped. Alright? And closed below this low. That is bearish change of character, isn't it? Now, one thing we need to understand is that smart money needs your stop losses. That's what they need to fill their own orders in order to be able to move. They will not move the market if they don't have a corresponding volume, all right, of orders to fill their own orders. They will not move except they have a corresponding volume of orders in order to fill in their orders. What do I mean? Now, for instance, in this first diagram, if the smart money wanted to sell the market, they need a corresponding volume of buy orders in order to be able to fill their own sell orders to move in their intended direction. Alright? So now, as you can see, if they don't have that volume of buy orders, they will need to create liquidity in the market. Alright? They need to engineer liquidity in order to have retail traders now place their buy orders so that they can sell. Alright? Now, so when price broke structure here, they move price up to engineer this liquidity here, to confuse the retail traders to think that price was going higher, only for price to drop. Alright? Now, this is an engineered liquidity in front of this your OB. Without this engineered liquidity in front of your OB, do not enter the market. Alright? And as you can see, price went up, came up. The smart money pushed price now up to sweep the liquidity resting above this high and then bump into this OB and drop. So this is your high probability OB. Alright? That's number one way of choosing your strongest order block. Now this is the second way. Price is also going up. Alright? Price now eventually is breaking structures. As you can see, breaking structures to the upside. And now, immediately after the break of this structure here, price started coming down, forming lower lows and lower highs. Now, this row here is liquidity resting up below there. Now, what the smart money normally will do is to engineer liquidity at this below these lows, either with a wick, in fact, mostly with a wick. That's why anytime you have a wick closing below, a wick that goes lower below the last low, alright, know that that is a strong liquidity. That liquidity has been purged there by that wick. Alright? And so the OB that will be sitting there will be a high probability OB. When that sweep of liquidity happens, and then you see price pushing up aggressively to close above this previous high here, that OB becomes a high probability OB. If you set your pending order there, it is a high probability OB. Are we saying that it's going to be 100%? No. There's nothing set in stone when it comes to the market. Alright? But at least something that gives you 80% accuracy is a good deal. It's a good deal. Alright? So that's the second way of moving. The third way of choosing your right and strongest OB in the market is, take a look. Price grab liquidity here. Immediately after that, smart money push price down to close below this low. This is a bearish change of character, isn't it? And now price went up aggressively into this your OB here. Remember, when it went up, there was no liquidity. It didn't grab any liquidity. Do you understand? If your OB does not take liquidity and you enter blindly, that your OB will become liquidity for another OB. Alright? And now, what do you need to do when you see that there is no liquidity gap here? You wait. As price enters into this your OB, normally I don't expect you on your higher to enter trade from your higher time frame. You wait. You scale down when price enters your higher time frame OB. You scale down to lower time frame to look for entries. Alright? Now, if you go down the lower time frame, this is the structure you want to see. You want to see a graph of liquidity inside of that your OB. Inside. It can happen with the higher time frame, it can happen with the lower time frame. But what you want to see is a gap of liquidity first before you take trade, before you place any trade. Alright, and as you can see, price captured liquidity here. Alright, inside of that your higher time frame OB. And immediately after grabbing that liquidity, price push down and fall and close below this low here. Alright, bearish change of character. And then your OB is sitting right inside of this your higher time frame OB, and then you enter the market. These are the three ways that you can choose the strongest OB in the market that will hold price. Alright, let me quickly show you those things on the chart briefly. Now, as you can see, price was pushing up before and created this low here. Alright, took out liquidity with this one. Alright, took out liquidity with this range in it range, took out liquidity there, and immediately it dropped to break below and close below this low. This is bearish change of character, isn't it? Now, it is not a confirmation of a trend change, you know that. Okay, now let's begin to look at the first example of this first example. Alright, take a look at this first example. This engineered liquidity is where I want to show to you now. Now take a look. Price came down from this low, isn't it? And went back up, came back down to break structure. That has fulfilled our condition for a trend change. Alright? Okay, so break of structure there. Now this is your OB, isn't it? Mark out that your OB. Mark that OB out. This is your OB. Now, this your OB here will become invalid if it doesn't grab liquidity. If there is no grab of liquidity, either in front of your OB or inside of your OB. If you don't find them, then know that this your OB will become liquidity for another OB. And as you can see, price broke structure here, pulled back up, alright, and came back down. This pulling back up was to confuse the retail traders to think that price was going higher, alright, and that price would get into this OB. Alright, now instead of price going to touch this OB, they drop price. And because this is an engineered liquidity, when they took price back up, they had to sweep that liquidity here into this OB here before they drop. Can you see that? That's the first example. Now, second example, let me show it to you. Price broke structure here. Take a look. There is a break of structure here. Okay? Now, when price broke structure, remember, there is this internal liquidity here. Internal liquidity, that price has taken structure here, has broken structure here, internally. If you don't understand what we mean by internal and external range liquidity, you need to go to our playlist to learn about that one. Okay, so that is internal liquidity that was taking the structure was broken internally there, and this is the external, the major liquidity, the major structure that was broken. All right, now this is your OB here. This is your OB. It's as simple, guys. This is your OB here, isn't it? Now, as you can see, price, after breaking this internal structure, price came down, push up to confuse the retail traders. the price was going higher. Take a look at the volume of this candle, this blue candle. Before you know it, price drop. All right, they had to engineer this liquidity here in order to have enough buy orders for them to be able to push price down. So they engineered this liquidity here and they push price up to sweep the liquidity resting above this high and bump into this OB before they drop. That's second example, guys. Can you see that? I need you to pay attention. Now there is another structure break here. Take a look here. Take a look at another structure break here. Now, when price broke structure there, all right, where is your OB? This is your OB here. Remember, your OB will become useless, will be invalid if there is no liquidity sweep. Always put that at the back of your mind. Now take a look. After breaking this structure, price went up, created this high. Can you see it before dropping? All right, this was an inducement to confuse retail traders that price was going higher. Instead, before you know it, price dropped. This is an engineered liquidity. So smart money had to come back up to sweep that liquidity before they bump into this OB and drop. You find this over and over again on the chart. Now let me show you quickly this second example that I told you, that it would sweep the liquidity here with a wick, and that point, that your OB here, becomes your high probability OB. Let me show you this one here. Take a look here. Now take a look at this candles here, this equal lows, this equal lows here. Now take a look at what smart money did. After this equal lows, they push price down. Alright, this was a bearish candle before they push price down. They push price down. Before you know it, they retraced, leaving this wick. So this wick was used to clear all the liquidity resting below this low here. Alright, this now becomes your OB. This becomes your OB. This blue candle that they use to push price becomes your OB. This is your OB, guys. This is your OB. Alright, they use that to clear this liquidity resting below here. Now this OB now becomes your strongest OB, and as you can see, price came into it and rallied. Guys, that is how to choose your strongest OB in the market. You must see liquidity sweep or liquidity patch before you take trade. You place your orders on the OB that you want to place your orders with. Alright guys, we have come to the end of the video today, but if you are new here, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so that anytime we publish a new video like this, you will be notified about it. Alright guys, I see you in our next video.